During a turbulent 2024, there were naturally winners and losers in the sports media landscape. Caitlin Clark, named Time magazine's Athlete of the Year, emerged as the year's standout winner, greatly influencing viewership patterns in women's basketball. Additional winners and losers emerged from the year's most dramatic corporate saga, the NBA's $77 billion decision to transfer its US media rights to established partners Disney, NBC Universal, and Amazon Prime Video, while excluding 40-year partner TNT Sports. With 2 weeks remaining before the new year, here are my winners and losers for 2024. From collegiate athletics to professional leagues, Clark was the standout star in sports this year. She is also proving to be the largest influence on TV ratings since Tiger Woods. The Women's March Madness final between Iowa and South Carolina attracted an incredible 9 million viewers, surpassing the men's final for the first time in history. Her final playoff game as a rookie with the Indiana Fever attracted a record 5 million viewers on ESPN, making it the most-watched WNBA game ever on cable. As sports media consultant Leslie Ann Wade points out, the WNBA Rookie of the Year is among the few female athletes capable of outpacing male counterparts in TV ratings. She could have paved her own way to play in the unrivaled Women's Basketball League. However, Clark is also becoming a controversial figure in cultural debates. While many may have reservations about Time magazine selecting Caitlin Clark as their Athlete of the Year for 2024, one notable individual with no objections is ESPN sportscaster Stephen A. Smith. In fact, the seasoned reporter recently launched into an extensive rant targeting anyone who disagrees with Clark's prestigious recognition. After referencing Clark's interview with Time magazine, Smith took the chance to respond to those who continue to criticize the Indiana Fever superstar. "You see why I have no issue with her being Time's Athlete of the Year," Smith stated on a recent episode of The Stephen A. Smith Show. "You see why I asserted she should have been on Team USA? You see why I had to speak out against individuals like Cheryl Swoops and others who were evidently dismissive of her, despite their attempts to deny it. There was animosity directed at her, and here's why I labeled it foolish. Because when she entered the WNBA after 22+ years, they had been traveling commercially, desperately seeking chartered flights. She joins, and within 2 weeks, they secured chartered flights. She immediately and significantly enhanced their conditions." Smith wasn't finished. He continued to highlight that the primary reason the league is experiencing a notable increase is due to Clark. "Things are improving rapidly, and she is instrumental in this progress. She's directly accountable," Smith asserted. "And there are those who resent her for this, as if she was the source of the challenges they faced from the lack of acknowledgement." Recently, Washington Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson expressed her concerns about Time's choice to name Clark the 2024 Athlete of the Year. The billionaire businesswoman stated, focusing solely on Clark was not the appropriate decision, and the publication should have highlighted the entire league. While Smith did not directly respond to Johnson's remarks, it's reasonable to presume that the outspoken ESPN analyst disagrees with that viewpoint. Caitlin Clark's rapid ascent in women's sports reached a new milestone when Time magazine recognized her as the 2024 Athlete of the Year. From excelling in the NCAA tournament with the Iowa Hawkeyes to an outstanding rookie season with the Indiana Fever in the WNBA, Clark's accomplishments have established her as a pioneer in basketball. However, her accolades have also drawn criticism, igniting a broader dialogue about her influence on the sport. One prominent dissenting opinion came from Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, who proposed that Time might have celebrated the overall impact of the WNBA instead of singling out Clark. This year, the WNBA found its rhythm, and it's due to the influx of talented players, Johnson told CNN. It's not only Caitlin Clark. There's Angel Reese, too. There is so much talent available. In the midst of the criticism, one of Clark's staunch supporters emerged, her former Iowa Hawkeyes head coach, Lisa Bluder. In a discussion on Sports Seriously, Bluder spoke openly about Clark's unique impact on women's sports, urging others to acknowledge and support her contributions. It's absurd to me that anyone would attempt to diminish something so positive for the sport. Clark has genuinely advanced athletics and women's sports in a manner that hasn't been done, perhaps since Billie Jean King. Bluder stressed that Clark's prominence benefits the broader women's athletic community. When Caitlin's light shines on her, it illuminates all of us. I believe others need to appreciate that more, she added. Bluder's bond with Clark is profound. During her time as head coach of the Hawkeyes, Bluder led the team to consecutive NCAA championship games in 2023 and 2024, marking Clark's era as one of the most significant in program history. Bluder reflected on Clark's commitment and how her influence transcends her individual successes. She argued that Clark's achievements have paved the way for female athletes everywhere and should be celebrated as a unifying element in women's sports. For many, Clark's recognition by Time signifies her unique position as an innovative athlete and a representative for her sport. Her narrative, intertwining remarkable skill with a steadfast dedication to excellence, continues to motivate both teammates and supporters. As Bluder aptly noted, supporting athletes like Clark goes beyond celebrating their victories. Involves ensuring their legacy elevates those around them. The Indiana Fever released a 13-minute video highlighting superstar guard Caitlin Clark engaging in an individual workout with the team's new coaching staff, headed by head coach Stephanie White. The exclusive video captured Clark's initial practice with White and her team, featuring player development coach Keith Porter and assistant coaches Austin Kelly and Karima Christmas Kelly. Clark focused on her ball handling and shooting at Salesforce Court, a practice facility within Gainbridge Fieldhouse, home to the Fever and the NBA's Pacers. The former Iowa Hawkeye just completed her inaugural professional season, averaging 19, 2 points, 8, 4 assists, and 7 rebounds. She led Indiana to a 20-20 record and the team's first playoff spot since 2016. Now, the Fever will be directed by White, who recently spent the past 2 seasons as the head coach for the Connecticut Sun, achieving a 55-25 record and guiding the team to 2 semi-final appearances. There are still 5 months left before the Fever's 2025 regular season opener at home against the Chicago Sky on May 17th, providing White, her staff, and Clark ample time to get settled. In the interim, they have already begun off-season preparations as the Fever aim to build upon last year's encouraging season. Caitlin Clark has commented on her alleged rivalry with fellow WNBA star Angel Reese after being named Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year. The 22-year-old point guard discussed how she and Reese have been portrayed as adversaries during her interview with Time magazine, published on Tuesday, December 10th. The rumors of a feud surfaced after the University of Iowa's women's basketball team triumphed in the 2023 National Championship against LSU when Reese seemingly taunted Clark with a hand gesture. The two basketball icons have continued to be seen as rivals since joining the WNBA in 2024, a notion Clark finds perplexing. "I don't get that at all," she remarked. "We're not best friends by any means, but we're very respectful of one another." The Indiana Fever player added, "Yes, we have had tremendous battles, but when have I ever guarded her? And when has she guarded me?" Clark also commented on Reese's earlier hand gesture towards her, stating she didn't perceive it as taunting and that it truly didn't bother her. Nevertheless, she is frustrated that fans continue to focus on her and the Chicago Sky Stars' relationship rather than the games they participate in. "It's just like, why not discuss their victories? Or the remarkable run we had that no one expected us to achieve?" She stated, "The only thing people cared about was this fabricated controversy, which has persisted since then." In June, the WNBA stars faced each other on the court again, as the Indiana Fever achieved their first professional victory against the Chicago Sky with a narrow score of 71-70. During the third quarter, Chicago Sky star Chennedy Carter hip-checked Clark to the ground, after which Reese was seen leaping off the bench. Fans quickly speculated that she was cheering for Carter's hip check on Clark, intensifying the feud rumors. At that time, many media outlets quickly suggested that Clark was being targeted, including the Chicago Tribune, which claimed that Carter's action would have been considered an assault if it had occurred off the court. However, Clark disagreed with those assertions. "I never thought I was being targeted," she remarked to Time. Clearly, that should never happen in a game. But basketball is a physical sport. Emotions can sometimes take over. I have let my emotions control me many times. Clark further explained that she didn't even notice Reese's reaction to the incident on the bench. "I'm not sure if she was aware of what happened," she added. "Honestly, I doubt she was cheering because someone hit me. I really don't think that would be her reaction. I hope not." Meanwhile, Reese has previously expressed her view on the perceived rivalry with Clark. During her attendance at a Complex Conversations event last month, she acknowledged that there has been a competition between her and Clark since their college days. "Competing against Caitlin has been ongoing since we were probably in the 8th or 9th grade. We were both very competitive in AAU," she said, referring to the Amateur Athletic Union. "I went to Maryland, she went to Iowa. So we faced off there and finally competed in the national championship. People don't recognize the legacy we've built by playing against each other for such a long time." While she recognized that the online speculation surrounding her friendship with Clark has become excessive, Reese mentioned that it isn't always detrimental. "Clearly, social media tends to create rivalries between two women," she remarked. "I believe this has had both negative and positive effects. It highlights women's basketball, so I view it as a privilege to be the one who faces the criticism. However, I understand that ultimately, I am contributing to the growth of women's basketball and supporting women's basketball